So weird, as soon as you know the camera's actually on, and then it's...
That's what I said to Jaco this time, like, just forget about the camera. You need to try. Because the conversation is amazing when the camera's not on.
Yeah, that's what Joe Rogan gets right.
What camera?
What camera? Yeah, that's what Joe Rogan gets right. He just doesn't give a fuck, that guy. Hey, imagine making the amount of money that guy makes, and the people he gets
from YouTube.
Jeez, nice.
But the thing is, he also talks about things that's not
controversial.
Yeah, I mean,
but imagine
it's and anybody's interest.
And he's fucking
like
intelligent.
You can now click on any of his videos, he'll be like intrigued with what they.
I love everything. The people he meets. I mean, imagine. I'd love to interview Elon Musk. Yeah. That for me is the boss of the universe. I love him. I think everything that he's done is amazing. You know.
Okay. And Mark, me and you come a long way.
Jeez, but it's been a long time. East Rand boys.
Yeah, I was always intimidated by you because he's a big guy, and I always wanted to look like that.
You know, it's funny. Like, it's funny people say that. You know, because I always get in the club. I'm a softie, dude. Like, I'm a father of 3 girls. I'm a big teddy bear, actually. But I used to get people when I work at clubs saying, "Mark, please don't beat me up." I'm like, why would I beat you up? No, you look like you'll hurt me. I'm like, dude, I'm the softest guy you'll ever meet.
I think it's the same with me, and I get it quite a lot, especially in the gym and online. People like scared to approach you, because, not just because you're a big guy, but you come across as arrogant. And I'm like, but I'm everything but arrogant. No, I'm not that person. And I think it's just that persona that bodybuilders or big guys give to people.
Sure, but I think I must be honest. Before I got to know you well, I probably thought the same thing as well, because I think like in the fitness community, especially what you do as an influencer, I think like you have to look good, and people think that you're so focused on yourself. And I mean, a lot of people I know, obviously a very popular guy, will say to me, Jaco's arrogant. I'm like, dude, you definitely don't know him. He's a family man, like, you know, he gets on with everybody.
I wonder
like
what
the kindest person.
Like why do people, like, but it's the way you carry yourself on your social media
platforms?
No,
I think it's impression. I mean, I'll never forget, I had a gig the one night at this place called, I can't actually remember the name now. And years later, I met this guy, and he's like, geez, you're actually quite a nice guy. I'm like, why would you think I'm not? Like, you've never met me. No, like my cousin was trying to talk to you while you were playing a gig, and you brushed him off. So he told me you were an arsehole. I'm like, but like, I was working. Like, I can't talk to him. But people take that impression about you, you know. And I think if you don't give it, and I'm sure for you must find that people want to talk to you all the time, and you probably don't want to talk to them all the time.
Yeah, the reason why I mentioned it is because it's something that bothers me. Like, I want to change that. And I obviously then need to change the way that I put myself out there on my social media. And I'm trying that. I'm doing like little things to change it up, and it's, you know, just give it like talk more on your social media platforms, you know, so people can actually see who you are.
Yeah, I've seen that
person. So because I want people to know who I am. Yeah, and I'm not just that.
But I think that's what makes you popular, is that you're the family guy. You're not afraid to make fun of yourself. You know, that's cool. Like, a lot of the guys are very out there. I mean, you're not afraid to talk about when you're out of shape. I think that's why people connect with you. People connect with reality and real people. Yeah. But again,
it's changed now, because I think everybody became an influencer and a superstar on social media, and people are bored of that now. They want to see the real you, and they want to see the real me, and they want to know a bit more about just who are these people that actually call themselves people that influence the public.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important to change up now and, you know, be in the trend and stay there. And I think what people now want is just to want to know more about who you are.
Yeah, I think like from a public persona, you know, the looks that you have for 90% of the world is not attainable, you know, and they know that, and they want to speak to somebody who can kind of tell them that we can look much better. We don't have to necessarily look like you, but here's how I did it, you know, and the real truth, you know, rather than the hidden truth, you know. So.
But yeah, so going back to where I've met you, you know, we've been part of the fitness industry, even yourself. Was back in the WBFF days when I brought WBFF to South Africa. And that was such good memories.
Very good.
I hosted the first one in 2016. Was it 16? 14?
14, I think.
Yeah, 16, yeah. And the biggest show in SA, and you were my DJ at that event. I think we had like 265 athletes on stage and over 3,000 people in the audience.
I remember doing that show and Jaco phoning me and saying to me, "Hey Mel, can you come and play at my show?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, it's going to be a couple of hours." Holy crap, we were there all night, dude. I think I was like, I should have doubled my fee, man, because we literally sat there till I think we got home. I left there at like 1 o'clock. I had to go straight from there to
I think
gigs.
that show was very unexpected. We did not
Yeah.
know what was about to happen. That was like history made.
It was. And it was a great production, you know what I mean? Even moving along your shows as they went on, the quality of the athletes was really, very good, you know? I think that you've always given that to your shows, you know, given yourself to them. I mean, I still remember you back from Body Beautiful days when you were doing your first shows there.
Yeah.
Long ago.
And that's, yes, and I knew nothing about bodybuilding. Also, like, I did extremely well in the modeling industry. And I think that's what transitioned me into fitness and bodybuilding. But, you know, just always wanted to look good, and I prepped myself for that show. But all my knowledge by myself.
But that's, actually, I've always wanted to ask you this, you know, like, was fitness something that, was that what you always wanted to do? Like, from a kid, like, did you not want to be a fireman? You know, or a doctor or something, you know, like, you know, people have got stories, you know, you wanted to be different things. And,
you know, I think I was always unsure of what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Because if I look at my subjects at school, I was like, why did I start? I was like, why did I pick these subjects? Yeah. Anyway, so after school, I wanted to have a gap year, and I went to the UK. I only wanted to go there for a year, and I ended up there for 4 years.
Okay.
Where I met my wife, and I was in Scotland. But yeah, long story short, the thing is just there I was, you know, fell off the wagon and just drinking a lot.
As you do when you're a kid, yeah.
You know, just enjoying life and traveling and seeing the world. But I knew that I wanted to study something, and it was, you know, so I picked and I went to university and I studied law. And I did it for 3 years. I was so close to finishing, and I was like, fuck this, it's not for me. Like, I can't do this. Like, it's just too much reading.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing that bothered me, was I had to read all of this stuff, and then you go write exam, and there's one question they ask.
Dude, that's my one subject at varsity that I hated, was business law.
Yeah.
It is the only one I just battle. I don't know how people do that.
But looking back now, I just wish I finished it, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just I wanted to be in the corporate world for some reason, because I thought it's what's going to make me happy.
Well, money,
you know.
Yeah.
But at a very young age, I always had this entrepreneurship in me. Like, I wanted to work for myself and make my own money, and so I went and changed my subject. And I went to study business management so that I can start my own business one day.
Yeah, that's
and
useful.
Property specialist. So I've done that through NISA, where I studied 4 years to get my NQ level 4 and 5. And then went into property, did the property for 4 years, and I absolutely hated it.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was so boring. And you sell a house, and then you get paid after 3 months. It was just this long wait.
Yeah.
Consistently, if you miss 1 month, you have to wait another 3 months again.
Yeah.
So I hated that. But I made a bit of money, and you know, I learned how to graft and work, because you don't get a salary, you got to earn your commission.
Yeah.
Which was a good thing for me, because then at least I knew that, like, this is what I need to do. I need to set out a plan so that I get money every month. But the money that I saved then, you know, obviously in that period, like, I did modeling on the side, and, you know, with the modeling I did extremely well.
I think you need to post some of those old modeling pictures of yours, bro. Yeah.
So you won Model of the Year 3 years in a row in South Africa, and then I did Mr. Pretoria, Mr. South Africa, then I went to Mr. World.
Sure.
And even after that is when I decided, like, I'm in front of camera all the time, like, I need to stay in shape. And I think that's where the fitness and the bodybuilding beat me. So
It took you.
It's definitely not something that I think I would excel in bodybuilding and fitness, but I realized that that was my passion. And till today, it's still my passion. And it's not necessarily just competing. Like, if I have to look back in my career, like, I haven't competed a lot. I've done well, but it's definitely not what made my successes.
I'll give you my perspective on that just now.
Yeah, so for me, it was just, I wanted to build businesses and be the boss of my own brand. And, you know, you obviously met incredible people to walk that journey with you, but I don't think I'll ever be able to work for a boss ever again.
No, it's hard, bro. Well, my story is a little bit different, man. So I played sports at school, like anybody. I did very, very, very well at school. I was a straight A student. I played first team hockey. I was a pro skateboarder when I was at school, believe it or not.
Do you have photos of that?
I do, actually. I did very, very well as it. I was one of those proper little skateboard boys, backward jeans, very thin. And I hit varsity. I also didn't know what I wanted to do, but I did well at school. So I went to study actuarial science, majors in maths and stats. And in first year, my family were all provincial swimmers, and I hate swimming. I think it's terrible. So my family joined up the what was called Sports Connection gym then in Benoni. And they said, right, we've got this family membership. We're all going to gym as a family. I'm like, only posers go to gym. It's stupid. I'm never going to do that with you. They're like, well, we're going as a family, so you must find something to do.
How old were you then?
I was 19, 19. And so they had a basketball court there. I thought, cool, that's rad. I'm going to play basketball. So after about a week of that, it was boring. So, you're kind of playing basketball, you watching what the guys are doing in the gym. I'm like, those guys are so lame. Like, who the hell would pick up weights and what muscle? What a bunch of posers. So a week or so later, I thought, I'm going to do the circuit. I'm never going more than that. I'm only going to do a circuit. So after a week of doing the circuit, I was like, Jesus, this is what it is. Yeah. And then I met a guy named Kenty Scott. I don't know if you know him, from East Rand boy. At the time, he was South African champion. I was like,
in bodybuilding.
Cool guy in bodybuilding at the time. He used to work with Chris Scott in NABA. So he gave me my first program. I've still got it, dude. I weighed 70 kilos. But I couldn't even do 3 push-ups, nothing. And literally within 3 weeks, bro, I stopped skateboarding. I stopped everything. And it literally became my life. And carried on with my varsity. I did the same as you. Dropped out of varsity after my first year because I'd found gym. I'm like, I want to be a trainer. I want to work in the gym. This is my life. This is what I want to do. Yeah. And I said to my mom's like, cool, but if you leave varsity now, we're not supporting you again. So this is your only chance. I said, no, I never want to study. It sucks. It's awful. And I started working as an instructor at this Sports Connection. So my first couple of weeks, I was like, yes, this is so rad. I meet girls. And I was bored. I'm sitting all day. You know, the gym's busy for 2 hours, dude, during your shift. After the first month, I'm like, oh my God, is this what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? And then I got my salary, 1,500 Rand. I was like, yes, that's great. My mom said, hold on. Now you are at home, you need to pay rent. And I had like 500 Rand left after I paid off my expenses. I said to Mom, I've made a mistake. I need to go back to varsity. She said, tough shit. Now you're going to work. And I did. I worked and I studied. I finished my degree in actuarial science. By then I was getting into gym. Also met my wife just after that. And started working in the business world in IT. And I met my father-in-law. He got me into, Chris Scott and those guys got me into bodybuilding. And long story short, I got into it. I won the IFBB Gauteng champs overall. Then I went.
So you actually got into bodybuilding before your interest in music?
No. Look, music's been from the beginning.
Okay.
So I was DJing as a hobby at that stage. Okay. So it was kind of a jewel,
just something on the side.
Yeah, I played instruments since I was a kid. And then when I was about 17, my sister was at St. Dominic's, the school. Yeah. And they had a party there and the DJ had to leave. And I always had a big music collection. So he's like, Mark, can you just put your CDs on? I was like, press play. I was like, this is so rad. I pick up so many girls. Yeah. I'm going to do more of this. And I got into DJ and it was always a hobby. It was just something I did. It was fun.
Yeah. All self-taught.
Yeah, of course. It's the only way you can learn that stuff. So I did that. I competed for many years. I won the Weber SA Champs, went to Worlds, a whole lot. And then I got divorced and music was still a hobby. And I met up with my friend who owns H2O and he's like, come and play at my club, Sutra. Cool. I played. He's like, do you want to play next week? Okay. Do you want to play the next week? Okay. Do you want to play Friday and Saturday? Okay. Come play at H2O. And that was it, dude. I had a supplement store at that time. And that was 15 years.
Supplement store.
Yeah, a little one in Kempton Park.
Like our entrance into
Yeah, I loved it, bro. You get to meet people that way, and
I think that was also the doorstep for me, having that supplement store and
I think meeting
the
people,
time reading about nutrition and nutrients and definitely helped me a lot.
I did the same. I mean, I studied through Trifocus and HFPA. I did all the qualifications and I became like a sponge of reading information and got myself into the industry quite drastically. I used to coach John Leslie, for his first World Championships back in the day. I've always been a brain guy, and I've written a book. It's called In the Trenches, A Guide to the Final Week. And it's a scientific breakdown of the the final week, your prep with your decarb, your carb up, how to work with ratios, potassium levels, that type of thing. So I sold that in 12 countries actually at the time. And I wrote all the muscle evolution articles on anabolics, with Andrew. And it was really cool. And then the music just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And fitness just, as a job just fell apart. But I do feel that it's a big part of my life. And I think it's a big part of my career. When I came into the DJ scene, how many DJs do you know that have a bit of muscle, that have got abs? And I think I've got attention that way,
Definitely. I mean, that's how I remember you before I even met you.
World's strongest DJ, thanks to Tyrell. Stupidest name ever.
But the thing is, that's like people remember you.
It is. It's a marketing thing. And I think as I've got older now, fitness has become even more important. It's always been something that balanced me. Like my industry, people are drinking, taking drugs and late nights. And I always thought that if I'm going to have a longevity in this game, I need to look after myself, because late nights will kill you, drugs will kill you, too much drinking will kill you.
My next question to you is like that. Drugs and alcohol is a big part of that industry. Like it must have been hard for you not to fall in that trap and be influenced by.
I'm not a drug guy, I never have been, dude. Like I drank like anybody in their time. And I'm not going to say I didn't have my periods where I got hammered like anybody else, but it was never a problem for me. And people always used to say to me, get drunk with us. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you drink at work? No. Then why should I? Okay. I said, so I'm not saying I won't party, but when I work, I need to take it seriously. I need to have my head clear. Like you, I've got brands that support me. And I'm pretty sure, a car sponsor, they're not going to like me posting about how much tequila I have, So, and I'm sure you drink once in a while too. That's one of my things to you. You always look super healthy. Like, do you ever cheat? Normal life, junk food?
I've always been a fussy eater. Like, even remember in school when my mom used to pack my lunch, I would open the lunch and like, ugh.
Playing for me.
In the bin, that's how I was. I'm not going to lie. So, but I was a skinny guy my entire life, so I knew nothing about food and what food meant and how important food is. And it's the funniest thing that I did so well in the sport where it's all about food. And I think it's maybe something that's subconsciously always been on my mind, like, why have I always been so skinny? I feel like I hated it. If I think back at school, I feel like almost I can't remember if I was, but I feel like I was bullied because I was so skinny.
I was.
And I think that's also why I went into the industry. But so that actually played a big part of my body type, plays a big part of my results today, because I'm a skinny guy. And
like a hard gainer.
I'm a hard gainer. And I'm super, super strict when it comes to my diet. So when I do eat a cheat meal, like it's never bothered me, I need to eat a cheat meal this week because, I'm not an eater. So it never bothers me. So, but I'm so disciplined with what I eat. So that's why I'm always, when people always say like, Jaco, you're always in shape. And I think that's what helped me to.
But this is it. It's like people say to you like, how do you manage to keep your abs so like that? Like, do you diet all the time? I'm like, you know what I do? I eat well all the time. But I believe in the 80-20 rule. Like I eat well 80% of the time. Like I've got daughters, I want to have an ice cream with them. I will have it. I just make sure that I don't have it all the time. Ice cream doesn't make you fat. Lots of ice cream makes you fat, And I'm sure you do with your sons. Every now and then you'll have an ice cream or whatever.
All of the time. Like it's just like for me, it does. I don't even worry about when people invite me to a bride or actually I need to have my meals. I'm not that guy. Like I'll go there, they invite me for a bride, and I'll look at the food that's on the table without making an issue about it. And I'll see, okay, that I can't eat, I'm not going to eat that, and I'll just pick what I know is healthy for me. And even though if I eat something that's not healthy, I know that the next day I'm a judge.
Did you ever find I remember when I was getting ready for a show and dieting, you've got your Tupperwares everywhere, your chicken, rice and broccoli. That I remember people inviting me for Bruyn, I'd bring my food with me. And they would be insulted.
You were that guy.
I was that guy. And dude, I was super focused. I would write down, being a mathematics person, I love figures. I would write numbers down. Even to the case where I would measure the amount that I peed the week before and make sure that I had a tracking of all of that. Because I believe the figures work. But people would invite me to a braai, but eventually they'd stop inviting me to the braai. It's like, screw this guy. Like, he brings his chicken. Here's us eating this. It makes us feel guilty. And I learned that over years, because I'm like you, dude. When I'm in something, I'm in it. And I knew it was a problem one day when I was sitting with my 5-year-old daughter refused to eat off a plate, and she only wanted to eat out of Tupperwares. Influencing her life. I thought, shit, I better be a normal dad for a while, you know?
Yeah, but funny you talk about that. It's like I've mentioned that to my friends the other day. Like, I get so upset sometimes with my kids because of what they say and what they do, and then I just stand back a moment and I look at them and I'm like, I'm exactly like that. Like I do that.
Yeah.
And now you mentioned the Tupperware thing. They do it because Dad has done it for years out of a Tupperware.
I've got teenage daughters now. You know, you obviously want them to love themselves for who they are, and they obviously grew up in a healthy lifestyle. You know, like training hard. And I heard one of my daughters saying to me, looking at herself, she goes, "So I'm getting fat, Eddie." And I'm like, "What? Don't let me hear you say." And they're thin. They've got beautiful little bodies. They're like, "How can you say that?" She goes, "Dad, I've just eaten this chocolate." Then I remember it's like, as I eat a chocolate, I'm busy going, feeling my fat going on there. And I'm like, putting my stomach in there. And they've obviously seen it from me somewhere along the line. You kind of feel guilty, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. I want to talk to you about like passion and, you know, like, let's say, for instance, my industry, like where I'm now and why do I do what I do? I get so many people asking me like, what motivates me? You know?
Yeah, good question. I'd love
and
to
when I think back on when I started in the industry, you know, I look at people that are well known, like let's say for instance, good old Arnie Schwarzenegger, and that motivated me today. But when I think today and looking back now, the only thing that really motivates me is obviously the love for the sport and see how it grows and how youngsters come up and excel. But my main motivation is myself. Like, if I wasn't dedicated and putting in the work and being disciplined and determined on reaching my goals, then I won't be motivated, because results is what motivates me, my own personal results.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to be, because things change. And I think self-growth, I'm exactly the same as you, dude. You can love the industry as much as you like. That's cool, and that's a side effect. But I consistently want to grow as a person myself. So I want to do things that make me grow. They may not be important to you, but they are to me. And my goals help me work. And success breeds success, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there's thousands of people out there that do inspire me and that I aspire by. But like, it has to start with yourself. And I think if you are the proof in the pudding, by being that person that motivates himself and getting the results and be disciplined and determined, then, you know, it's going to show, and the people that then loves to follow you are inspired by your motivation.
Exactly, and I think it's not about, like, you have to find that thing that gives you passion. For you, it's your training, man, and your eating. Like, that's your thing, and you've taken what you love and made yourself grow. So for me, like, I loved music since the day I was born. I grew up with it, and it's just, that's something. Like, in my industry, I don't care about anything except music. I love music on any shape or form. And that's what drove me to try and grow. I mean, I'm self-taught all my own music. And I just want to keep getting better. Like, I don't care if other people don't love my music. I'm sure you're the same, dude. You don't really, I mean, you probably do a little bit care about what your followers think, obviously. Yeah. But like, you're being you, you know. And
but to put an example out, like your passion, like I love listening to music. But my listening to music and your listening to music is two completely different things, because you hear different stuff that I'll never hear.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I think because everything's subjective, you know, you listen to it in the way that you want to listen to it. I probably analyze it more, and it probably, like, I'm probably quite more judgmental. You just enjoy it for the sake of being music. Like, for me, I enjoy what I love because I understand more about it. For me, I don't know if it's necessarily the best thing ever. For you, if you like a song, you don't care what style it is. You like it, you just like it. For me, it's kind of like, it needs to tick a lot of boxes for me to be able to accept it. So you may, for argument's sake, like a song, and I'll be like, I don't like the kick drum or the snare, or the keys are off for me. It's not my type, but everyone else loves it. So I think maybe I overanalyze it. But I mean, on that point, actually, what do you listen to when you train? I mean, what do you like musically?
I've got a weird music taste. Like, when people club in my car, they're like, Jaco, what are you listening to?
Please just don't tell me it's opera. That's all just don't tell me it's opera, please.
No, it's not opera.
Thank God.
Like, I actually can't answer that question, because I like such a wide variety of music, whether it's pop and dance and, you know, hip hop or whatever. Like, it's just
music for the moment.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I can't, like, I'll be lying to you if you ask me, like, what is your favorite music? Like, it's like, I do like dance, and back in the day I loved trance.
Yeah.
And I still listen to trance, but it's changed a lot from.
But I think that's quite cool to be diverse. I mean, I know for me, I appreciate a lot of music. I play classical piano. I love classical music, dude. Like, it's not that everyone thinks that because I'm a dance music DJ that I'm going to only listen to dance. Dude, I don't either. I listen to hip hop as well. A little bit of this. It depends on my mood, you know, I think as well. And I think it's nice. And I think music and fitness, dude, they really do go together. I mean, how often do you not see a gym that's got some kind of pumping music in it? And I mean, you know, there's
Creates the vibe as well. Like.
there's a psychology in the gyms that, and if you notice this, when the gyms are busy, they play faster music so that you can train harder, get out faster, more people can come in. But when the gyms are empty, they play slower music so that you train slower and the gym always looks full.
Do all the gyms do that?
No, but that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I remember one of the guys at Virgin Active telling me that years ago, when it was still Sports Connection, that was their psychology on how they ran their music. Because I used to complain. I'm like, what is the stuff that you're playing? I'm going to fall asleep. And they're like, no, but there's a reason, you know?
Let's talk a bit about your traveling experiences and where you've been in the world. And on top of that, what, according to you, was the best place you ever visited because of who you are as a person in there?
Yeah, so I've played, I think, in about 26 odd countries around the world. I've had some really cool experiences. I've played the Formula One Grand Prix in Bahrain twice. It was unreal, dude. I sat with Jenson Button. I didn't know who he was, though. So I was sitting in the pits, dude. I mean, I knew nothing about F1 at the time. And I sat and chatted with the guy for ages. I didn't know who he was. I only found out when I saw the fly later. Yeah. But yeah, I've met the King of Bahrain when I was there. But I think, to answer your question, the places that resonate mostly with me as a person, probably Ibiza, bro. I think a highlight for my career, as well as a person. I played there for the first time about 3 years ago. And dude, that place is magical. And not just from a party perspective. I'm a very spiritual guy as well. You know, there's a lot of beautiful scenery there. Some of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. And I would go there and meditate. But there's something about that island that's got a magic about it. Something in the air when you land there. Like you just feel this like magic.
I've never been there.
You've got it. Where is your favorite place?
Mark, yes, I've also, like in my busiest 5 years of my career, I would say 2015 to 2020, just before COVID. I would say, like, I've traveled overseas every month.
Yeah, I was watching that. I saw that.
You know, very fortunate in all the traveling that I've done in my entire life. You know, I've seen the whole world was purely because of my fitness career. So super blessed and that I had that opportunity to see the world. Although I had to do it by myself, most of the time it was still, like, for me, like, there was many times I got on the flight, I'm like crying, like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Leaving my wife at home, and you know, but I knew that there was more to it, you know. But I had to go through this, and I'm so fortunate to be given this opportunity to travel the world and be part of brands and meeting people and networking and, you know, seeing different countries.
Yeah.
So that added a lot to who I am as a person, and, you know, my social media today, and just networking and building a brand.
People don't realize about travel. That, you know, people say to me, it's so amazing you travel every week, because I literally am on a plane almost every week of my life. And like, it is cool. It really is. It's awesome because I love to travel. But there are times, like you say, being a family man, where you're like, shit, man, because you're not going to meet your family. You know, you're getting people who care about your brand, not necessarily you as a person. So it is tough.
And I think it's like many times when you travel, and we go to, say, for instance, Spain for 4 days, like literally don't see a thing. You go there, you do what you need to do. You've got the seminars, the expo, the next day you fly out, or 2 days, you maybe see Spain for a day, and you can't see Spain for a day. So it's not possible. Like, places where I traveled. So, yeah, places that I really liked the most traveling to was poor countries.
Oh, really?
Like Egypt, India, Zanzibar.
I want to go there.
I went to Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, how was the sea?
Yeah, so for me, those type of places meant so much to me because people are so grateful.
Yeah.
And they're so accepting and happy, and then you go to the first world countries and you get everything but that. Like I love America, don't get me wrong, I love Australia, but these countries just, there was always something of myself I left behind, because we come from a country where, you know, where everything is black and white, and you go there and everything is just color, and they're happy, and you know, they're so grateful and they're so poor. Like when I went to India, and India is a great example for me. Like the first time I went there, I was overwhelmed because of the acceptance there and how the people treated us.
Yeah, they love it.
And the sad thing for me was to see how poor that country is and how many people struggle, but they'll never show it. They're
Proud.
happy, they're proud.
Yeah.
And it's something that doesn't bother them because everybody works together. But yeah, it was like I've been so grateful for what I experienced there because of having kids of my own and seeing how kids grow up there on the streets.
I feel like those people, when I meet them, I mean, I play across Africa as well. I feel like they're happier than we are.
Yeah.
But they have so much less, you know, they don't have anywhere to live. And I play quite a lot in Mozambique, in Zambia, and a lot of poor communities there. And like you said, they're so grateful to have something different to see, to listen to something different. And it's so pure. Yeah. And they've got these like smiles. They seem so much happier. Like here where we're in a first world, we have everything, dude. We eat every day, we drink. They're worried about where they're going to eat, but like they seem so much happier than we are, simpler, you know.
That's what I loved about India. I did tour India for 3 weeks, so it was also too much for me. Like emotionally, when I got back home, I was like emotionally drained because
grateful
so much to take in and be grateful for because we've got everything that we want, you know. And those people are happy with less, and maybe that's the problem. Like maybe we want too much.
I think
ourselves, and
I have this discussion with people all the time. And I mean, I'm a Buddhist for many years, and I always tell my daughters that money doesn't make you happy. They're like, so what? Mustn't we have money? I said, no, that's not what I'm saying. It's how you attach yourself to things that makes it bad. So, you know, working hard and making money, there's no sin in that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you attach yourself that money becomes the thing that controls you, that's when it becomes bad. And I think that's why the poorer people are happier. They don't have it. So they don't worry too much about it, you know? Yeah. It's a hectic thing. But I mean, you talk about the travel. Another place I do love is Las Vegas, bro. Dude,
so that's a different love.
Dude, I went to the Mr. Olympia,
I've been there 5 years in a row.
Oh.
And every year I go to Las Vegas, I try to be there a day less.
Yeah, but are you partying?
Because I know what happened previous years. I either spend too much money or the place just drains.
Well, you can't help but spend too much money.
You can't help it. But yeah, like it's definitely on top of my list. Like I love Las Vegas. And I think people you go with is...
But I think the thing is people think Vegas is just this party place, which it is. But if you go 1 or 2 blocks off the strip, it's actually really cool. I mean, I went there for the Mr. Olympia. And,
which year did you go?
I think it was 2005. I was represented Muscle Evolution, and I had backstage passes. I sat with the guys. Amazing. It was unreal, bro. I interviewed Flex and Ronnie and all the boys, and I actually sat with Sean Ray at the show. But you know, we went to Mandalay Bay because that's where they had it. Yeah. Trained at Jay's gym, and you go into the suburbs. It's actually rad there. Listen, the party side of it, you can't be there for more than 3 days, or else you'll die.
Strange,
You'll die.
But yeah, Las Vegas is amazing. I'll definitely go back there. I would love to go there with my wife and just show her the experience that we had.
Yeah, then
we stayed in beautiful hotels. The last one we stayed in was the Bellagio.
Oh,
when I did Worlds now 3 years ago.
Oh, I didn't go inside it, but I mean it's the one with the fountain outside it.
Yes,
beautiful, dude. I went there almost every day.
So expensive,
dude.
Like, if you open the fridge and one of those whatever is in the fridge moves, puts you on. It's the So for instance, those little gin bottles of whiskey, like if it moves in the fridge, they put it on bulk.
But they've got it down. I mean, I was reading about Tiesto and his residency there. And he was playing there every month for like, every week for like $1 million for a Thursday night to play there. And he was actually saying that as a DJ, if you're playing in Las Vegas, you don't need to play anywhere else in the world. You make so much money, it's actually just worth it. Just the volume of people that come there. I mean, from a business perspective, there's no tax there either. Like you don't pay tax there because the visitors pay all the tax there. It's crazy, you know? So,
but yeah, let's talk quickly a bit about your meditation and like why would you tell me to meditate?
Well, let me tell you how I got into it first. So obviously I went through a few years of, in my industry, partying, going hectic, and I had a really bad breakup, bro. Like a really bad breakup, and I was struggling to get over it. But look, I wasn't a good boy myself at the time either. And someone gave me a book on karma. I thought, I'm going to read this book. And I thought, you know what, dude, you deserve that. Like, you know what, the karma works is kind of like what you give is what you get back. And I felt like that breakup was kind of like what you deserved after what you'd put other people through. So I thought, okay, that's very interesting. Let me read more about this Buddhist thing. And just to put it straight, I'm not a religious Buddhist. I don't believe in supernaturals, but he had some really great teachings. You know, this guy had such an insight into life and true happiness. And the whole of it starts with, we run our lives so busy on our phones all the time that we forget to appreciate what we are. Like, you may be worried about losing your job. How are you going to pay your bills? So we either live in the future, which is stupid. Think about it, because me worrying about losing my job next week, it may never happen. So I'm going to waste energy worrying about it. And then we also live in the past, guilty for things that we've done. But it's also pointless, because no matter how much you think about the past, like, you can't change it. Like, even if you pay 20 years of saying sorry, you're still not going to change it. So it's a waste of time. So what he basically said was to not be attached to anything. So attachment meaning spending too much time worrying about this or that. And his solution to it was to meditate. So what meditation is, a lot of people, let's debunk what it isn't, first of all. People think that meditation is about clearing your mind, right? I'm sure you think that. And I started trying to meditate when I was 20. I closed my eyes, 3 seconds later, I was thinking about something else. And I was like, there's no way I can meditate, my mind's too active. But let me tell you, meditation...
That's how I feel. Like, that's why I ask you to, like...
So meditation is not about that. Dude, no one can clear your mind. Your mind is designed to be active. Not even a Buddhist monk can clear his mind. So what meditation is about, controlling your thoughts. And if you can do that, you can do anything. So, you know, basically what happens is you're breathing in, you try to focus on your breath, and 3 seconds later, your mind wanders off. Or like I call it a train. You wander off onto a train. And then you realize it. Cool. Bring yourself back, you start breathing again. It's exactly like training. We talk about bodybuilding our bodies all the time, but when do you bodybuild your mind? And that's what meditation is. It's bodybuilding for your mind. It's training you to control your thoughts. And once you've done it for a while, you'll find, and I don't know how it works, but you'll find that you'll worry less, you lose your temper less, you get angry less. It'll just happen. I know for me, after 6 weeks of meditating, I just suddenly felt more peaceful. I was handling things differently. I mean, I've been susceptible to road rage.
But how would you know that you're meditating right? Like,
you
say for somebody that begins, how would you know, okay, I'm actually doing
You can't get it wrong. It's impossible. There's no wrong or right. You are doing it. So you're being present.
But you have to be in a quiet environment.
You don't have to be. There's different types of meditation. I mean, the first way to do it is just to be silent, dude. Then don't even worry about your thoughts. Just be quiet. Sit down for 10 minutes and just be quiet. Don't put your phone. That's the first step, because even that will give you great benefit. Because the whole goal of meditation is to teach you to appreciate now. Because if you think about it, dude, we only have one moment. This now. You and I could walk out there and lightning could strike us and we could die, bro. So you must think, if you can embrace the moment that you have right now, and it's a very hard concept to get into. If you can embrace every moment and treat it like it's your last day, like ask yourself this, if today was your last day that you were given, what would you do?
Cool. Well, thank you for...
Yeah.
It's always good chatting to you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. It's good to have you.
It's nice to hear your side of the story and all your successes. And I think a lot of people will find value from what we spoke about.
So, yeah, and I think as well, like from my experience of you, bro, you've got such a gentle nature, and the way you deal, like I literally haven't met someone who's met you properly that doesn't speak highly of you. That's the honest truth. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. That is the truth. I mean, people that don't know you, I've had a couple of people come up to me and try to badmouth you. And I'm like, dude, you can't say that. Like, how do you know? No, he's arrogant, he's this. I'm like, really, what has he done? Because from my knowledge, you haven't done anything that's anything but kind to people. You know, you're always helpful, you're always willing to listen, you know, which is a good thing, you know. And I love the fact that you're a family man, bro. You know, a lot of influencers, and especially in the fitness game, it's so egotistical. And obviously there is an element of it, you know. But like, I follow you because like I dig your pictures, they're creative. But also dig the stuff you post about your kids and your funny stuff, you know. It's really good, bro. I wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you. And I wish you all the best for yourself as
thank
well.
you, man.
I mean, you've inspired me for many years, and not necessarily just being a DJ, but being consistent in what you're passionate about,
Yeah.
which is very important for me. I know you live what you are a true example of what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I think
your accolades tells the story.
and that's what people resonate with, man. And but I mean, what is your future? Like, where do you look? Do you see yourself? You know, after
for me now,
after fitness, you know,
for
where?
me, I think I'll always be part of the industry because it's who I am, and it's like I love the lifestyle. But just building successful business or businesses, and what we're currently doing, and making money. And, just spending more time with my kids because they're at an age now where they grow up so fast, and before you know it, they're out of the house.
Trust me, they're gonna hate you soon.
But I just want to be a good person and just do what I love. I know that I'll always be in the industry, so it's now also nice for me to give back and help individuals that wants to follow into my footsteps. And I'm not saying I won't compete ever again.
Sure.
I think I still got a little bit of fuel in me, but it's definitely my priority at the moment.
Awesome, dude. Thank you. Thanks for having me, though, dude.
Shot.
Always good to see you, bro.
Nice.
Cool shot, dude.
Oh,